Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to one and all. We five friends we have gathered together to discuss the movie Interstellar and what we feel about it. S- without further delay, let me introduce ourselves. I'm Julian Correa, uh, a fan of Interstellar. I'll pass the mic around.
Yeah, hello, this is Saurabh, and I've watched a couple of Christopher Nolan movies, and Interstellar was definitely one of them, and I did like the movie, but it's been quite some time since I watched it, and I've watched it only once, so I tend to remember bits and pieces of the movie, so whatever that comes to my mind, I'll be sharing it with you. So I'm passing the mic to Sneha now.
Hi, I am Sneha. Actually, I am talking right after watching the movie for the ninth or tenth time now. So every time I watch, there is a new discussion over it. Every time there is a half an hour discussion after the movie, and I get to realize new things that's been shown in the movie, and there is a thought process that is linked to that new thing that I realize. So uh, every time I watch the movie, it's kind like I'm watching it for the very first time, and the very first time I watched was in theater. So it's a kind of nostalgic feeling for me. So as such, Christopher's movies are one of my most favorites. Anytime go to the movie. So anytime I open the movie list and I want to watch a movie randomly, I think one of his movies will be there in that list that I want to watch. So let's discuss it.
Hi, my name is Abhishek, and I'm not a science guy as such to discuss these movies, but I love the visuals and sound of Christopher's movies, and I love his direction and how he portrays time and everything. So let's discuss what I remember and what I like in the movies.
Hi, I am Vallabh, and yeah, science has always been like a curiosity thing to me. So I like exploring, and that's in that if you consider space, then there's very much more things to explore than the terrestrial sphere that we have. So yeah, I have watched the movie, but it's not like uh, I didn't give it full time, or like I didn't give it for my full interest in watching, so I left it halfway. Yeah, so I hope to watch it again, and I'll talk about.
So let us start with the gist of the movie, the heart of the movie. The heart of the movie is relationship between father and his daughter. So I would like, yeah, and yeah, what that means to the father. That okay, I will say outright. There's going to be a lot of spoilers in this podcast. So if you are planning on watching the movie, I have not watched it till date. Please switch off this podcast and return to it after watching the movie. Uh, because we will be we will be talking about the script and all, and it will be major spoilers. Okay, so we will. The heart of the movie is the relationship between the father and the daughter. So let me get everyone's view on that.
So, since the movie revolves around a daughter's relationship with her father, I guess it's best to start with someone who has been a daughter herself, and she tends to share a very good relationship with her father. So, first, let's start with understanding how it is to be a daughter. So, you go, Sneha, and tell us a little bit about being like a daughter.
So being a daughter, first of all, you would expect the father to be always around you. At least by the end of the day, you would want to see his face. You wouldn't go to bed without seeing his face. So after the dinner, you're waiting for him. So when as a kid, I have also been that way. At least in the age that we see Murphy in the movie, the daughter, she is in that early teens, I guess, in the sixth or seventh grade age. So in that age, especially, you are spending your day with the expectation of that last part of the day, seeing your father, talking to him, and then you go to bed listening to his talk. So that the starting bit of the movie where she realizes, and she's the one who led him to it. to that, he is out of it, and then she leads him into it. So that moment when she realizes that I am the one who led him, and then now I'm going to lose him for the same reason that I led him. So that moment where she's in the bed and she realizes that he's not going to come back, and he's explaining her that we will see you decades later, I'll see you decades later, we'll see each other's decades later. I can actually feel that moment when she's going through that, and then he's going off, and then she knows that there is nothing much she can do. But then he is going for an expedition where it's going to save the humankind. So she's in that mixed feeling, but then she still doesn't want, she knows that he's the one who is going to save the whole humankind, and still she doesn't want to let him go. So that moment, that spending time with him, spending her lifetime with him, is much more important for her than, living further or generations being saved. So that moment is so precious for a daughter. And then later in her life, as she's growing up, and she's also part of that expedition or whatever the group that is going to save the humankind, she also becomes a part of that. She is herself a member of that. So she is with the that old guy. So she's with him doing the plan A, or is the plan B, whichever it is. So she's also a part of that. And then she knows that in the later moment when that person is going to be no more, he reveals the truth that he might never come back. Your father, it was never a plan for him to come back. So the betrayal she feels, how betrayed she feels, and then she has a doubt. She herself doesn't know whether the father himself knew about it. So she has a doubt that did he know and did he leave me here? So even she feels betrayed from her father himself, not even the other people whom are actually third persons to her, but she even feels cheated by her father. So that moment where she doesn't even feel that he's a person known to her, her father is himself a person known to her or not. So that feels very disturbing actually, that moment where she's on that what do you call, video call, simple terms, video call, recorded call. Okay, she's asking him, did you know while you were leaving me, did you know that you're not going to get back? And you lied that, yeah, we will be seeing decades later. And he makes a sentence where he tells, we will meet at the same age. Me and you will be of the same age when I return back. Maybe at that point I'll meet you next. So she's going on waiting, and one day she gets to know that they all knew, except her, everyone knew that he's not going to return back. And they kept lying, and they kept giving her hope. She is working on that plan A because of that hope that one day she'll get to meet her father. Similarly, how a little girl is waiting for the whole day to meet her father in the end of the day, to see his face. She's going through that. The whole of her life, almost the whole of her life, is for that moment. So the time when she gets to know, she feels that moment is very disturbing. Where she, on the recorded call, she's telling him, she's asking him, whether did you know about it? So that feels very disturbing. So as it, other than this, there are many other views to the movie. So let's discuss those.
Yeah, since you spoke about an expedition to which uh, her father goes and leaves the planet Earth for uh, Cooper. Since I don't remember the character name, it's been quite some time. Uh, I would like to ask someone if here, people present here, five of us, I don't remember much of the movie, but then what is it exactly people on Earth are going through for such an expedition to happen, and what makes him leave the planet Earth on such a journey wherein even he is not sure that if he's coming back or not, and leaving his beloved family behind. So can you like throw a bit of light on what apocalyptical situation has arisen in the movie, or what will arise eventually on planet Earth, and what would and what has led to such a situation in the movie, and can we take few lessons out of that currently, and also about the expedition, if someone can explain and share about. So whom should I give the mic to? Like, if you remember what was the expedition about, Vallabh? Do you remember, Julian? Yeah.
So in the future, as according to the movie, the crops of a majority of the farmers start failing, and there's a fungus or a blight, which is I don't know if it's the same thing. It attacks all the crops, and the year they're leaving for the expedition, even it is going to attack corn. Corn was one of the last crops that was immune to the blight, but now the blight is going to attack corn also, and eventually all the people on earth are going to starve. Now before this, we can safely say that there was a war, kind of a war for food or resources, because they were the marines, the machines like tars, case, and Indian drones. There was a drone flying over the cornfield, solar powered, and NASA was asked to drop bombs on starving people by the US government, I guess, but they refused to do so. So, all in the background of all of this, the expedition starts uh, to to the planetary system, which is presented itself like recently. So, this is what's the background.
So you did throw a bit of light on what's happening in the movie or what led to such a situation, but can we little bit discuss about if such a scenario can eventually happen to us in real life, and are we like looking at a future which is very uncertain as of now, and considering the amount of uh, global climate crisis that is going on, wherein the temperatures are increasing, and we eventually speak of people fighting over drinking water and food, and food scarcity. So are we headed in the right direction, or should we be expecting such a thing to happen in, say, 50 years or 100 years? Or maybe it will take at least 300 or 400 years for a situation to arise. And since Elon Musk is already planning to colonize Mars, uh, are we already thinking that we have to give up on this planet and like shift to other planets? Vallabh, what do you think about it? Would you like to share?
Yeah. So speaking of that, today I was watching Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. So in that movie itself, there's like a discussion happening on what will be the fourth world war, or how might it happen. Yeah. So this is just a spoiler alert on Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. So in that discussion itself, there's like they discuss about these things, like the fourth world war and so on. So like a very top official says that if there happens to be breakout of any war, it would happen only for like breathing air, for food and water. So there's so this point I would like to highlight in this. So yeah, so mainly in the I what I know also have seen in the movie context is that they are mainly trying to inhabit another planet, which might be suitable for human beings and like for sustainability, and pretty much that I can remember. Yeah, I would like.
I mean, like, what I was trying to say is like the discussion around the movie is also important, but at the same time, we can also think about what we as a society or as a civilization are heading towards, or what wrongs we are committing, and obviously you like to include what is happening in the movie, and we can also talk about the wormholes and the time dilation that happens on the planet that is very much close to the black hole. But before we reach there, since the movie is about apocalypse that is about to hit the human civilization on the planet, uh, should there be a message to listeners of this podcast as to what could be done, at least on an individual level, which could on a cumulative level uh, add up to what do you say, at least deny such a climate crisis from happening, or at least postpone it? So I don't know, I'm like, it's a little bit of digressing from the topic. But then, since we are talking on this point, and it's a little important to me and to listeners, since we have only one planet that we have for us, and I'm not so much sure about colonizing other planets because that will be eventually. I mean, like, it's okay. We are an exploring species, and it's very natural for us to explore new frontiers. But then, since we are living on this planet, and since we care about this planet, and since we care about the food we eat, would you like to talk about on those issues a little bit, Julian or Abhishek? Uh,
Actually, there is a context in that movie, very important one, where that old guy. What is the name of that old guy? The actual physicist. Okay, okay. Doctor Brand,
No, that
the father,
doctor.
her father, himself is the physicist who is the main one, no? So he tells a sentence where he's introducing Cooper for the very first time to the mission. He gives a very important sentence there where he's telling the fungus or whatever the parasite that is, let's consider it a parasite, okay? So the one that is eating of all our crops, so it is living on nitrogen, and nitrogen is the most abundant content in our atmosphere, and we as humans, we need oxygen. So there itself there is a striking factor that we are already living on borrowed resource that is very limited in our atmosphere. So there are many other living organisms in our environment that are very naturally very adaptable to the atmosphere. That is 80% of the nitrogen. They can live on that nitrogen. So they are very easily livable here than us humans. So with whatever the limited of 20 or whatever the limited of oxygen we have, we need to be very careful in using it because it's already too very limited. So, would you like to add upon that? Because we are talking about the resource, no, the air, breathable air, or eatable food, or drinkable water. We were talking about that. So, how limited it is and how well we should be using them.
Well, talking about resources, we as a species need food for our sustenance and clothing and all that. But what we can do is we can minimize the things that we need. To live comfortably, that as comfortably, we don't need much things. That everyone should agree about this thing. Like there can be few needs but many wants. So if we cut down on our wants, I think we should be fine. I don't think there should be an apocalypse and all that. We can avoid it. There might be a apocalypse for some other reason, for some political disagreement or something like that way. But for natural resources, we can manage that ourselves. But if there is a political disagreement over natural resources, I'm not so sure.
so, what you're trying to say is basically we should cut down on the conspicuous consumption that happens, wherein we are very much interested to show off that what we are wearing and what we are consuming. Consumerism, that is the ultimate pinnacle of capitalism, if I have to say, and that is what eventually is at odds with the nature.
No,
In some sense, you're trying to say.
I feel what we consume. I feel what we consume should be climate friendly. Like yes, sustainable. In fact, we can have many products and all that are very climate friendly and all. We like derive our. There is a economy in which is possible, that uses natural materials and is circular in nature. So this economy should do fine, as opposed to landfills and excess consumption and refuse and all those other things.
Yeah, talking about recycling, just to give you an example of how Julian is very much passionate about recycling and sustainability. It's been at least like 12 or 10 years ago he got a tattoo on his neck, which is basically it symbolizes the recycling cycle, recycling. What are the three? No, no, the three R's that do you remember?
Reduce, reuse, refuse, recycle, repair. r- r-
Since I was telling you about the tattoo that Julian has on his neck, which is nothing but a direct, it's a recycle symbol. So, would you like to share about what it stands for and what are the three R's like?
uh, One day I was traveling by bus to meet my friends in Pune, and I thought to myself, what can I do in Pune that I can't do in my hometown of Belgaum? So I thought I can get a tattoo just for that, and it was the first time I was going to Pune. Then I thought what tattoo to get. Then I thought of something big, because if I get a minute tattoo with details and all, my skin will expand and it will look horrible after a few years. So then I thought and it should be a sign that everyone knows. So I thought about the sign recycle, and it's a environmentally conscious tattoo also. So since then I've learned that our recycle, reduce, reuse, repair, refuse. Many R's are there that related to environment, and it can be a cool thing for like to wear a tattoo which signifies that.
Yeah, okay. Now coming back to the movie, since we were talking about an expedition, you told us why the expedition is happening, or what is the reason behind the expedition. But can you share with us what exactly they're like? What is they are exploring through the expedition? If you remember, since I have watched the movie for it's been quite some time, I don't remember much. Uh,
I have not seen today also. I was working. She has observed the movie.
No, you can share with us like what they're trying to explore and how they go through the wormhole, if I'm not wrong, and how that wormhole takes them to a different frontier altogether. So
I'll just explain what I remember and what I understood. Just that, yeah, yeah. They just go to space searching for a message in other galaxy, and that I think wormhole. Yeah, yeah. They say they have put, but who put I don't know. They. It's they. Okay, and they go into a wormhole and to other galaxy, and there is already an extinction of that galaxy. It's the star is dead, and the gravitational pull is so much that everything is dying in that galaxy. And in that there is a planet which Miller planet. Okay, and it's going to die soon. On that there is a message they have to collect, and that planet is full of water, no land, full of water, and on that planet it's 1 hour sprint is 7 years in on Earth. So it's very
Time consuming.
the time is very much slow on that planet, so that it takes so much of years on Earth, and they don't want to waste that time, and they unfortunately bad things happen, so they got caught for 2 decades, I think so. Some saving the on Earth, no? I didn't understand that what message they are searching, but there is a message to save Earth, I think so. To save Earth or some other planet they could shift to live. Yeah,
Yeah. Actually, because I just watched it before reaching here, I can remember stuffs. So he has not watched it today. I just watched it alone. So what actually happens in the movie is even before these people started their expedition, no, there has already been other expeditions that are already been done by single astronauts and physicists. Okay, so this main physicist, who is the old guy, Dr. Brand, I guess his name is, so there is a junior of him which is played by Anne Hathaway. So she is his daughter in the movie. So he has already made some other missions as well before this mission happens. So in Planet Miller, there has already been one expedition which is carried by. Not months. There is one more scientist or astronaut. Okay, so when he has done the and it fails, that expedition has failed. But then there are bits and pieces of the what do you call it, the spacecraft that crashed there. So you will have a recording of it, no, you will have a what do you call, yeah, black box kind of stuff, not exactly black box but similar kind of stuff in the air spacecraft. So they are actually trying to collect that, so that they get to know if there was any information of the planet they are going to go on the expedition. They can collect that stuff. They are trying to do that. So when they are trying to do this and they land on the water itself, they land over the water and they are trying to do this, there is a huge wave. So that is the nature of that planet, Miller's planet. So every 1 hour or something, there is a huge wave. Every few minutes, there is a huge wave, and then that in that wave, actually, the whole movie was not based on wormhole or any of these. Okay, they were not planning to go to a wormhole, or they were not planning to, go to different planets. But then they were trying to collect those informations that had been left by the previous missions. So in that process, they land up in an accident. That huge wave that comes in the Miller's planet, as Anne Hathaway is trying to, Dr. Brad, she's again a Dr. Brand. So when she's trying to collect that, the wave consumes them. So in that we see that one of their fellow astronaut, he is no more after that wave. So they collect that, and when they try to get some information from there, they find that there is nothing left in that recorder. So similarly, they go to another planet as well, Mans planet, where Dr. Mans, he actually misleads them. What he tells is, this mission is much more than saving your own families from the planet. So when we see that the two astronauts in the mission, in the present mission, that is Dr. Brand and then it's Cooper. They are the two main astronauts in the mission, the present mission that is happening in the movie. So they are mainly thinking about saving the people on Earth who are already being troubled by whatever is happening on the Earth. But then what Dr. Mans tells is, the whole mission was not about that. The whole mission was to save the species itself. So they carry those eggs. Dr. Brand, when she's going on this expedition, no, she's carrying those one whole, okay, if I have to tell in the very common word, a carrier full of eggs she's carrying. Okay, so he tells, Dr. Mans, in the very later portion of the movie, he tells that the whole mission was not about saving those humans from the earth. It's about saving the species. So by taking those eggs to that planet, the whichever the planet they're trying to colonize, no, by taking those eggs there, they're going to recolonize and then restart a humankind. So whoever are left behind at Earth are gone. You're not going to save them. The mission was not about that. It's all about taking the humanity to another planet and colonizing there and finally saving the species itself. So that way, it was not their expedition to get into the wormhole, or then the later part of the movie where we see that the father reconnects with the daughter through the time. Yeah. So when he reconnects through that bookshelf where he reconnects, that was all not part of their mission. But then those accidents that happen through the mission, it leads them there. Because again, you see in the later part where the Dr. Mans, whom they met in another planet, where he was hibernating actually, and then they saved him. He actually thought that there is no one going to save him. He was left alone in that planet. where he was doing the mission, where he was on the mission, and then he actually went on to the last sleep, where he calls it the last sleep. He did not set a timer for it to end. So he feels that he would be no more. He raised from the dead. That's what he tells. They Cooper raised him from the dead. That's what he tells. So that way, Dr. Mans then misleads it, and then he is a cause for another accident in the whole of the spacecraft. He causes a huge accident, Dr. Mans, and then he does all that because he wants them to land over the planet and not go back saving the people from the earth. He doesn't want them to do that because these two people, Cooper and Dr. Brand, they are stuck on it, that plan A, where they feel that the whole mission was to save the people from the earth. He wants them to stop it there. That plan is done. It's no more. That plan is not even a plan. It was never a plan. It was just like just to give them some kind of satisfaction that we are on a mission to save our people, our families. But they were not actually doing that. They were instead taking the human species to another planet. That's all it was. So that's what I understood. So let's hear Julian's understanding.
Well, what I understood from the movie is the director and the writer's view is that everything is on display. Human nature is on display. There's a scene where Cooper and Man are fighting on an icy planet, millions of light years away from home, and they are Dr. Man is considered the pinnacle of humanity, the most capable astronaut that NASA had, and he is engaged in a fist fight literally with a grumpy dad who has left his daughter and come to rescue mankind. Then s- the most capable man has deceived the astronauts into coming and rescuing him because he didn't have the courage to let go and accept his fate that his planet was not the one. And to what extent will a father go to save his progeny or his daughter, and along with all the children on earth? So it's a anything else?
So basically, it's a consequentialist kind of an approach to saving humanity, because he is not sure of saving humanity back on planet Earth, but at the same time, he's thinking about saving humanity by repopulating another planet out of, like, from zero, literally from scratch. So it is not at all utilitarianism, if I have to say it. It is, in some sense, I don't know. It's a consequentialist approach towards saving humanity, right? Vallabh wants to add something, so
No, I don't. I think don't have anything because I need to watch it once again to get a good overview. So I will, like, in the next week maybe I will add more to it. So yeah, I'll watch it.
Okay.
you don't need to pause. You discuss. You can edit it out.
Okay, we will just pause the discussion for today. I feel we had a good discussion, and Saurabh.
Yeah, because since we haven't watched the movie, all of us, in a long time, and since only Sneha has watched it just before coming here, so it was good to listen to everyone's perspectives and what they think about the movie and whatever bits and pieces they remember of the movie. And since we wanted it to make it in a single podcast, maybe we would like to pause this podcast as of now on this note, and then maybe come back next week, wherein we record and continue this podcast again, wherein we have watched the movie once. And since it will be fresh in our minds after having watched the movie, we can discuss with newer perspectives, maybe, and maybe we can read a bit about what happens in the movie and what went into, like, making of the script, and how physicists were, you know, uh, that their help was taken and I guess a Nobel laureate physicist has worked on this. If I'm not wrong, maybe that I don't recollect, since we hadn't decided exactly about discussing this as a podcast topic today, uh, and since we weren't prepared, so it was nice to listen to people's perspectives. On an extemporeal level, I would say. So next time when we come back, I hope we discuss in on a more in-depth discussion maybe. So till then, see you guys on the next side.